Okay, the last step, Form 656. This is our actual offer and compromise. It looks to me like Section 1 is just a copy from the other forms. It's our taxpayer name, the name of our spouse, our address, social security number, primary, that would be the taxpayer, secondary, would that be the spouse?
Correct.
Employer identification number?
Rick, I want you to skip over that right now. That is for a person who is self-employed, and that does not apply to this basic toolbox.
Okay, so completing Section 1 is a piece of cake. Okay? All right, Section 2. What can you tell me about Section 2?
Section 2, I would like you to put an X in box number 1. I don't want you to put it in any other box under Section 2. I'd like you to go over to the years. I need you to include every year. Generally, that's on the notice that you have in front of you. Every single year, 2001, comma, 2002, comma, all the way across. If you're not sure, put the year in anyway, Rick. Okay?
Okay, Section 2 is easy. Section 3, reason for the offer and compromise.
Well, remember, Rick, we're only going to do one reason here. Doubt as to collectability. I want you to take that where it says doubt as to collectability under Section 3 and put one X right there, and that's all I want you to do.
Okay. Section 4, offer and compromise terms. What do we do here?
I want you to go to the bottom of this page and push calculator and get all of your forms ready because we're getting ready to calculate your offer.
I've got the calculator open. It says the required figures are from IRS Form 433A, Revision 1, 2008. It's very important we have the correct forms, right?
That's correct.
All right. I guess we just start upper left and go down. Cash on hand, line 11. Where do I find line 11?
Okay, Rick. Now I'd like you to go to page 2 of Form 433A. This calculator is a fabulous tool made specifically for the Tax Freedom Toolbox. Let's go to cash on hand, line 11.
Okay, cash on hand, line 11. Enter that figure. Cash in banks, line 12C. Enter that figure. Investments, 13D. We'll enter that figure. Available credit, 14C. We'll just go down and fill in the rest of the lines. 15G. I notice you can just tab right through the form here and add the numbers in. And 17C for real estate equity. 18C for vehicle equity. Personal possessions, 19C. Oh, I notice it didn't calculate my total equity, but it took me over to monthly income. Okay, page 4, line 32. That's easy. Line 45, enter that figure.
That's going to be the total of your monthly expenses. It was all that hard work we did. Total, line 45 goes there.
All right, so I put in all my figures. I press calculate or just hit the enter button. All the numbers have shown up here. Now what do I do?
I want you to print the calculations because you're going to need these in one hand, and we're going to work the end of the 656 in the other hand. We have several options. Lump sum offer, short-term periodic payment offer, and then there is one last one, the deferred periodic payment offer.
The deferred periodic payment offer, that's something we just don't want to deal with.
You will not deal with this in the basic Tax Freedom Toolbox.
So let's talk about the short-term periodic payment offer. What's that?
All right, we can go there. You will notice it is much more expensive and it takes longer to pay off. That should be your second choice. Your first choice should be your lump sum offer.
So in Section 4, I'm going to write down my lump sum offer figure right at the top of Section 4. And I'm going to check lump sum cash offer.
Yes, you are.
And the 20% of the amount is calculated for me in the toolbox here.
And enter that.
Now how long do I have to make this payment?
Well, I want you to send in the 20% right now. And remember, I want that to be borrowed funds.
How long will this process take? When do I need to borrow the balance of my offer?
Generally, if you want an acceptable marker, 18 months is the average. In 18 months, you will be expected to start gathering your funds.
So the maximum amount of time that I have is 5 months after the offer is accepted to come up with the balance
Of the
my...
borrowed money.
Okay, so in summary then, we want to do the lump sum cash offer if we can possibly do that. If there's no way that we can borrow sufficient money to make this lump sum offer, then our next choice is the short-term periodic payment offer. It's not really a good choice because it's much more expensive.
Yes, and it prolongs the completion of your offer.
Okay, now Section 6 is explanation of circumstances. The explanation here, how much of an explanation do we need to put down here?
Exactly the lines that are there.
So we just need a few lines here that honestly explain why we got behind in our taxes.
And I need you to be honest.
Now, Section 7, source of funds. We've talked about this before. This needs to be borrowed money, correct?
This has to be borrowed money.
The last section is Section 8, mandatory signatures.
Make sure that you both sign.
So signature of taxpayer and signature of taxpayer. Me on the top, my spouse on the bottom.
Correct.
And the date, and this is the date that we submit the offer, correct?
That's right.
Now, we need one check for the 20% of our lump sum offer.
Yes.
Do we need any other checks?
Remember, there's the check for the $150 submission fee. And whatever you do, do not forget to make a copy of these checks and a copy of every piece of paper that you sent in with this offer.
There's one more form we need to download and check off. I want you to download the Offer and Compromise Summary Checklist. You need to go through this and make sure you have collected every document that is on the list and check off each one as you collect them.